The fact that daycare costs $600 to $800 a month for one child should answer your question as to why there are stay-at-home mothers.
Americans have accepted and normalized things that people in other parts of the world would and do find barbaric.
Why didn't anybody warn me that the most expensive part of having kids would be buying berries from the grocery store?
I can't tell if this is a joke or not, but like, what is $52.99 for a can?
This is how much it costs to give birth in America. $44,318.41.
Raising a kid in America now costs over $300,000 before college. Now, 300 grand is a house. It's a small one, but it's a house. In some states, it's a big house. That's what we're being asked to pay just to have one kid and go through the whole thing, hoping the kid doesn't get sick, doesn't need extra care, and doesn't cost you more than everyone else's kid. But here's the thing that got me digging into this. Somebody is still doing it. People are still having babies, even though the numbers make no sense. Today, I've got video clips of parents, non-parents, and people watching from other countries trying to figure this out. And by the end, I'm going to tell you exactly what I've learned about who's making it work and who's getting destroyed. Hey, if you're new here, I'm Kingsley. This is the channel where we take viral money clips and turn them into the education you should have had years ago. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the next one. Now let's get into it.
So I had a baby 2 months ago and I just got the hospital bill. Let's see how much it costs. I have the breakdown on my computer. So I vaginally delivered him and I was induced. And yes, I got the epidural. Whew, amazing. Oh my gosh. First thing is the labor room / delivery room. $13,900. Ouch. I got another bill that says room and board semi-private. That was $19,111. Next charge is anesthesia, $2,181. Pharmacy, $1,291.33. Other diagnostic services, that was $1,001. What is that? Please explain. The laboratory was $862, and then I got a charge for the emergency room, which was $411. So all those together, $38,757.33. That hurt more than the contractions.
$38,757 to do the one thing humans have been doing for thousands of years, which by the way is free in nature. And she's laughing not because it's funny, but because when a number is that absurd, laughing is the only thing you have left. Look at what this person says in the comment. Wait. As an American, I don't understand. Who has 38,000 grand to pay for that? But the next one is worse, and it's not even close.
This is how much it costs to give birth in America. $44,318.41. I had my little guy 3 weeks ago, so they definitely wasted no time sending me that bill. I had a vaginal birth with epidural, no complications, and I was in the hospital for about 2 days. So I'm gonna break everything down for you guys and show you guys how much everything costs and how much my insurance did cover. A private 1-bed room and board was $10,100. Pharmacy was $89.40. Laboratory was $859. My epidural was $1,845. Labor room and delivery was $10,275. Specialty services was $585, and then other services was $1,347. And that's just one bill. We have multiple bills to go through, guys. But my insurance did cover $20,353.62. And then I also still have to pay my doctor who delivered my baby. So that was $4,395.85, and that's with insurance already. I'm not sure exactly how much it would have been without insurance. Then I did get another like epidural bill, and this is just for the doctor, not the epidural itself. And that is $2,060.86. And then lastly, baby boy also gets a bill too, and his bill is $12,761.30.
$44,000 for an easy birth. Nothing went wrong. She was just in and out in 2 days, and they still billed her like the price of a Toyota Camry. But then somebody in a comment caught something that broke my brain. America's healthcare system is a joke. How does a newborn have a $12,000 bill? Yeah, that's not a typo. The baby has its own bill. 12 grand for existing. Bro was on this planet for 48 hours and already owed more than my monthly rent. I don't know when we decided this was normal, but look at this reply. What if you don't pay? Do they take your baby?
So I just had a baby 3 weeks ago, and I knew that the cost of having a child in United States is absolutely outrageous, but I didn't expect it to be this bad. Today I got my hospital bill in mail, so let's break it down. But just to give you a quick introduction, I did end up having a C-section that wasn't planned, but it wasn't also an emergency. During my 37th appointment, my fluid was low and the baby was breached, so the doctors have decided that the safest way to deliver the baby is via C-section. Well, after the C-section, the baby was in the NICU for 4 days. Twice they charged me for each ear. And lastly, on this bill, assistance with respiratory ventilator that the baby had to be on, $30,184. That was only the hospital bill, and then on top of that we also got the doctor's bill for the doctors that took care of him in the NICU. That came out to be $20,123. All of that combined comes to the grand total of $125,641.69.
Almost $50,000 for medical care she couldn't say no to. Her baby was in the NICU fighting, and she's checking her mail every day like, is that another one? Is that another one? Now this is not a she should have budgeted better situation. This is a country billing a woman 50 grand for keeping her infant alive. If you're a parent watching this, I want you to drop your birth bill in the comments. I want everyone else to see what normal actually looks like now. Okay, 3 bills in a row is a lot, and I know, but if you think that's the worst of it, you're not ready for what daycare costs. We'll get there, but just stay with me. Because first, I want to show you the one thing this next woman did that clawed 4 grand back from a bill like these.
What's the damage? Open. Y'all, my total is $12,129.09. And that's with insurance. Ooh, baby, you are expensive. Epifoam topical foam, $98. What is that even? Ibuprofen, 400 milligrams, $13. I have a whole bottle of that in my drawer. I could have just brought that. Epidural, 300 something. Okay. Oh my gosh. Vaginal delivery. This is a $4,000 charge. They charged me twice. This is why you need to check for an itemized bill every time. Oh my gosh. Freaking healthcare.
So they charged her twice for the same delivery, not different charges, not a separate service, the exact same procedure, billed twice, hoping nobody would check. $4,000, and she caught it because she asked for the itemized bill. That's the whole thing. She just asked. If you're a parent, always ask for itemization. Every single medical bill you get in the US tends to contain at least one error, and that's not me being cynical. That's the actual data. But we're not staying on the delivery bill for much longer because the parent tax, it doesn't stop at the hospital. It follows you home and it shows up in the weirdest of places. Watch this, Dad.
Why didn't anybody warn me that the most expensive part of having kids would be buying berries from the grocery store? I've been 4 times this week. 4 to buy berries. And if you're buying organic, forget it. I'm gonna have to take a second mortgage out of my house at this rate. Berries. Berries.
Berries. That's what got him. Not diapers, not formulas, not the hospital, just berries. Somebody in the comments summed up every parent in America right now. And then, God forbid, if you might want to snack on a few berries yourself, like, okay, I'll allow myself a daily ration of blueberries and 1 raspberry. Rationing raspberries so your kids can have vitamins. And once you notice it, you can't stop because it's not just berries. Watch.
I don't understand.
I can't tell if this is a joke or not, but like, what is $52.99 for a can? $56.99, $73.49, $51.49, $51.49. I don't understand how it's $73.
$73 for a can of powder that your kid drinks in a week. Now, a can of Similac or Enfamil normally costs around $25 to $35. What she's holding is the specialty stuff. If your baby has an allergy, this is what your kid needs, and this is not optional. But somebody in the comment made a comment that took me down a rabbit hole, and it says, let's not forget Nestle lobbying against paid maternity leave to force more families to use formula. Now, I had to check this one. The 6 biggest formula makers in America spent $184 million on lobbying in 10-year window. Abbott alone spent $43 million. The formula industry has quietly lobbied against paid maternity leave for years because when moms get paid leave, they breastfeed longer, and breastfeeding is bad for formula sales. That is published in The Lancet. We're being priced out of feeding our own babies while the industry making the food actively fights the policy that would let mothers stay home, which is exactly why this next one is going to piss you off.
Americans have accepted and normalized things that people in other parts of the world would and do find barbaric. The topic of maternity leave came up while I was having a conversation with a Polish man, and the way he reacted to finding out that the US does not have maternity leave really speaks to how far behind this country is in comparison to many Western and developing countries. He was telling me that him and his girlfriend have a 6-month-old and she's been staying at home with the baby since it was born, which prompted me to ask how long maternity leave in Poland is. And so he explained to me that legally in Poland, women have to take 20 weeks off of work. And if they like to go back to work earlier than that, then the rest of the maternity leave would transfer to the father. And that his girlfriend decided to take extra weeks off and her employer allowed it and has retained her job for her.
20 weeks paid plus a whole extra year at half pay if she wanted it. That's what Poland gives moms. Watch what America gives.
So of course, naturally, he asked me what the US's maternity leave policy is, and I told him there was none. That in fact, after my mom gave birth to my 9-pound brother via C-section, she had to go back to work a week later. When I tell you guys that this man's jaw dropped, he could not believe what I was telling him. He was like, what do you mean? Like, women are in such bad shape after they have birth. How is it possible that a woman can go back to work a week later after giving birth? What happens to her baby? And I told him, well, the baby goes to daycare. A week-old baby. And again, he could not believe what I was telling him. And then he kept on going after, what do you mean a baby needs its mother the first few months especially? How is it conceivable that a baby is spending 8 hours a day with a stranger? It should be home with its mother. And then I explained to him the concept of FMLA, which a woman can use in case her company doesn't offer maternity leave, but it's unpaid. A woman with a brand new baby taking time off of work to be with her baby, and that time off is not paid. Normalized in this country, by the way.
Nothing. America gives moms nothing. Not a week, not a day, not 1 hour of federally guaranteed paid maternity leave. The US is the only country in the OECD out of 38 developed nations that doesn't offer it. The average across the rest is 17 weeks. And somebody in the comments summed up how insane this is. Even North Korea has maternity leave. So the US is behind North Korea on maternity leave in 2026. That's not America being the best country in the world. That's America running an experiment on its own moms and pretending it's freedom. And somebody else caught the other side of the same insanity. The fact that y'all pay for an ambulance ride blew my mind. The whole rest of the world is watching Americans pay ambulance that takes them to give birth and then billing them for the birth itself. Somehow Americans are still figuring this out, and what they're doing to make it work is going to hurt to watch.
I keep getting asked at work, like, why are you still working? You should be home resting, waiting for the baby. I work in America, so I will be working up until I give birth, because the second I stop working, my maternity leave starts, and I would rather have 12 weeks with my baby and suffer my entire rest of my pregnancy than miss out on a second of being home for 12 weeks with my newborn. Then the fact that I work in healthcare as a nurse is like wild to me, that we don't get more time off. But yeah, I just slave around the ER, walking my ass off. Hopefully I go into labor soon. Hopefully it helps me go into labor, but it's just my favorite question. Why are you still working? Because I don't have any other options.
She's a nurse about to give birth, and she's still walking around the ER because the second she stops, her 12 weeks of leave starts. So she's forcing herself to be at work through her own contractions just to buy an extra day with her baby on the other side. Like, do you understand how brutal this is? A woman whose actual job is caring for other pregnant patients has to work through her own labor because otherwise the system eats time she was supposed to have with her newborn. That's the American plan. Grind until your body physically won't let you anymore. And then when you finally break, you get 12 weeks of unpaid recovery to raise a whole human. And that's if your state is one of the 5 that mandates it. Everyone else, you go back when the bleeding stops. If you think we're deep, we're not yet, because this next video made me realize American maternity care doesn't cost you money. It costs you the actual care you thought you were paying for. Watch.
Well, after 36 weeks of being pregnant, I just found out today exactly why I'm sitting in a waiting room for an hour to an hour and a half, only to be seen for 5 minutes by my OB every single appointment, and the answer is not what we all thought. Today, when I showed up for my appointment, I decided to go to the front desk and try to book out all the rest of my appointments since I'm so close to the end. So as the girl is trying to schedule me for next week and the following week, she makes a comment to me about one of the times that I have chosen. She says to me, "Oh, just so you know, that's a double book." I said, "What's that?" Said it means that you and another patient would be scheduled at the exact same time. I seriously thought I had to have misheard that. I said, well, how is that a thing? She said, well, we just have too many patients on the books, so we have to double them up. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. So I said, oh, is this because of the last couple hurricanes that we've had with people having to cancel appointments? And she's like, no, this is just how it always is. So then I say to the girl, like, well, wouldn't this be an indication that maybe you shouldn't be taking new patients anymore? And I was not snarky at all. I was genuinely curious. He said, well, our new patient appointments are booked out all the way till May, meaning like new patients aren't even coming to this practice until May. The fact that you can put me on the books for 8:45 a.m. and then put somebody else on the books for 8:45 a.m. on the same day is just mind-boggling to me.
The OB was double booking her, 2 patients at the same time, both showing up, both paying full prices for 5 minutes of FaceTime. That's the American maternity care model in one sentence. You're not a patient, you're just a billable event. And when you're paying premium to be treated like traffic in a doctor's office, full price, half of the doctor's attention, and you don't even know it's happening, which is the exact vibe of everything we've talked about so far. You're paying for something that's actively working against you. But here's what gets me really. This is before the actual big number even shows up, because the biggest cost isn't birth, it's what comes after.
The fact that daycare costs $600 to $800 a month for one child should answer your question as to why there are stay-at-home mothers.
$600 to $800 a month for daycare, and he says it like it's a lot. The national average right now is about $1,200 a month for infant care. Massachusetts is over $1,700. DC is over $2,000. That's $24,000 a year for one child to go somewhere so both parents can go back to a job that in a lot of cases doesn't even pay enough to cover the daycare. Somebody in the comments said the thing that every parent thinks the second they walk into a daycare. Having a newborn in daycare with strangers is insane, right? Like we just normalized dropping off a 6-week-old baby with people we've never met before for 8 hours a day for $2,000 a month, because otherwise nobody eats. And that's the thing we agree to as a society. And this next clip is about to make you feel it in your chest.
Can we talk about the cost of childcare for a second? Because I think everybody understands it's incredibly expensive, but I think unless you're actively parenting and paying for childcare right now, you might not truly understand how expensive it is. Where I live, the average cost of childcare is $20,000 a year for one child. I'm in Massachusetts, which is expensive. The lowest end is usually around like $13,000 a year. But here's the thing, the average family in America is spending 24% of their annual income on childcare. In 11 states right now, 2 kids in childcare is double the average rent.
$20,000 a year for one child in Massachusetts. 24% of the average American family income going straight to childcare. And in 11 states, 2 kids in daycare cost more than double the average rent. 2 rents. If you have 2 kids in daycare, you're paying more than 2 rents worth of your paycheck just to work. Like, what are we even doing at this point? If you're a parent, drop your monthly daycare number in the comments. I want people planning to see what actually happens. And if you're planning kids, this is the section you save, because this is what nobody tells you before the baby comes. This next one is the one that reframed the entire thing for me.
I used to want to have kids. Imagine having like little yous just running around. You teach them how to speak, how to walk. Seeing their growth, it must be nice. It must be fulfilling. But I don't want to have kids anymore. The average cost of raising a kid to 18 is over 200k. 200,000 pounds, bro. Talking about the currency, not the weight. 900 pounds a month to look after an alarm clock that goes off without your consent. That is not a child, that is a mortgage. You're not even born yet and you're already finessing your parents. You're a thief. And they're only getting more expensive. There's gonna be guys that need to finance their kids using Klarna. By 2025, you need to get a kid on lease. You need to drop a 30k deposit before having a baby.
Kids are a subscription. You just can't cancel this one. He's kind of not wrong, except unlike a subscription, a kid becomes a whole person that you get to know for the rest of your life. A comment on this took the joke somewhere where I wasn't ready for. Finance the kids using Klarna. You know what's actually crazy? There are already companies that let you finance childbirth, like payment plans, interest, like the whole thing. That's a real company. We've turned bringing a person into the world into a Klarna checkout. And this last clip says out loud what everybody's thinking.
You know what's crazy is like the way that babies have so quietly become a luxury. Like now, it's not like whenever someone brings up that they're having a kid, it's not like, oh wow, that's amazing, congratulations. You're like, how the fuck are you affording this? And literally the only people that I know that are having babies, like planned babies that they wanted, are the fucking rich people. Like the rich people that I went to school with and stuff that like had their parents buy them a house and like are already married. Those are the ones who are like, yeah, we're gonna pop one out. But it is just really insidious how bringing life into this world, babies, something that should be normal and celebrated, and like I said, is part of the fucking human experience, are now like a luxury.
Babies are a luxury. I mean, she's right, because look at the actual data. Birth rates in America are at historic lows, and the people still haven't planned kids are people who came from money. But here's the part that gives me hope digging into this. The parents who are actually killing it right now on normal people's income, they didn't win the salary game. They planned. They knew the numbers before the baby came. They picked their zip code deliberately. They stacked every credit and hack you can stack. It's not that having kids is impossible. It's that having kids without a plan is impossible. And I know that's a wild distinction, but it's the whole game, which is exactly what I want to leave you with. Look, come here. Here's the truth. A few years from now, you're going to be one of two people. You're going to be one of the parents crying at a bill they didn't see coming. Or you are going to be one of the parents who saw it, planned for it, and gets to just enjoy it with the kids because the money stuff was handled before the baby got here. Which one you become, that's a choice you make right now, not the day the baby comes. And here's the 3 moves. Move 1. Know your insurance before you're pregnant. Not after deductibles, out-of-pocket max, what's covered when you have to add the newborn. Get all of that cleared right now. Move 2. Build a $15,000 birth emergency fund. A separate account, untouched, just sitting there. So when the unexpected bills show up, because it will, you're not adding hospital debts on top of a newborn. Move 3. The day you decide you want kids, start stacking FSAS, tax credits, waiting list at daycares, every hack the government leaves on the table for parents who ask. Most people don't know these exist until they're already broke. Do these 3 things and the $300,000 number stops being scary. It just becomes math. Because at the end of all this, kids are one of the most meaningful things a person will ever do. And you should be able to have that. You just have to walk in prepared. Now here's what I want from you. Drop a 1 in the comments if you're planning to have kids. Drop a 2 if you already do. And tell me one thing you wish you'd known before the baby came. And then drop a 3 if you're still deciding. Whichever one you drop, I read every reply. In the next video, I'm breaking down the true cost of buying a house right now, which is another one you can absolutely pull off if you plan for it. Subscribe so you can catch it, and I'll see you in the next one.